Hopetown obviously offers a lot of different services. Like you said, housing, transportation. What are some of the things that are next for Hopetown that get you
I
the
think,
most excited?
we talk about the core of Hopetown. What's really exciting for me and has been for the last couple of years is, I'm an entrepreneur. I've worked in business or around business for all of my adult life since I got out of the military. I look at this, when I first heard the term social enterprise, I'm like, what is that? Well, it seemed like it was a business that you could build within a business for a nonprofit. I'm like, how does that work? Well, you build a business, you run a business, and the proceeds go to help the nonprofit. Oh, so it's not just grants and people,
donating money.
Yeah. Like we can actually use the vehicle, the model of a nonprofit, and create a business that actually serves our residents or the people that we serve. So our first one was Hope on Wheels, That came about by a house manager who still drives for us today, Hope on Wheels. It was his idea. He suggested that I get contracted to drive for Medicaid rides. And long story short, I resisted for a while, and finally it clicked, and we got contracted. And originally we did it to be able to get reimbursed to move our own residents to their medical appointments, including treatment. And that way we could at least help them and get money to do it. Even if it was just going to pay for the service, and not, because transportation's expensive. It quickly turned into a business to where we do 1,000 rides a month for our community. Less than 50 of those rides are for people that live in our house, and we created those proceeds that we create revenue to provide all those rides. That's quite an operation. Try giving 10 rides a month. Or 1,000, it's quite an operation. And we got 12 cars, a lot of people focused to make that happen. But we're profitable, and we take those profits and we put it towards staffing that goes towards the programs that serve the people that we set out to serve. It also created a business model that allowed me to buy this building, the old police department and fire station.
Yeah.
We don't buy that with grants because banks don't like grants because grants aren't guaranteed next year. So you can't prove that income, but you can prove Hope on Wheels income. So that social enterprise, that's why it became exciting to me. It allowed us to become more autonomous. It allowed us to actually figuratively and literally put a motor on a model that had none, right? When you look at recovery housing, the model of $450 rent, that might work if it's just me that's going to serve that group of 15 guys. That might allow me to make barely a modest income and not work, and I can just help them. Or I could have a team of 25 staff serve this population because we've actually grown it to be more, What started making sense for us when you got 12 cars and you're driving 5,000 miles a month per car. You're putting 40, 50,000 miles on 10, 12 cars a month. You get a lot of wear parts go out quick. You're doing oil changes every 3 or 4 weeks. You're changing brakes every 3 or 4 months, right?
Yeah. Tires.
You're just running the wheels off these cars, right? AC units. If we got 10 cars, we're doing 3 or 4 AC units every spring, right? As soon as it gets hot, we're like, oh shoot, here we go. So we started realizing we were spending a lot of money just in regular wear parts, let alone repair, just in maintenance. So naturally, taking care of our own fleet, we could hire qualified people that we serve to work for us and become part of us. And that was the idea of fixing up this old fire station and making a public garage out of it. We, one, take care of our own cars. 2, we opened, 3 weeks ago to the public. And this community has no auto shop in town, so they're finding it pretty helpful. And we've got a 3-bay garage in the back that we're going to do detailing out of when it's not freezing out. But in the time being, we can at least clean out our own cars and wash them down. Yeah. So that they're not looking terrible through the winter.
Yeah. So the social enterprise thing has
Social
really
enterprise to
just,
me is like the most
it's
exciting
evolved.
part of what I do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super exciting. I constantly will have ideas come across my head as I'm sitting at my desk working on something, thinking like, oh, we could do this or we could do this. And so I'm excited to see where the future.
Well, and one of our programs
you know.
it became Hopetown Solutions, right?
Yeah.
It started with the transportation solutions because we were doing some innovation challenges and getting some recognition for this Hope on Wheels idea, right? And what it's done for our organization financially and otherwise and who it serves, right? All the communities are looking to solve transportation issues, not just people in recovery, right? We just happen to be in recovery and we're solving this, at least for ourselves and our community, at least a part of it. So now we're licensing our brand, Hope on Wheels brand.
Down in Cincinnati. Yeah.
And that'll be our first licensing agreement, technical assistance to help them build a transportation program, ongoing coaching and mentoring, and we bill like we're accountant, like my accountant does or my lawyer does. We bill for the time that we spend helping them, and it makes total sense. And I wish we'd have had that available to us when we started.
Yeah,
because it
save a lot of headache.
We're not building. They're not going to be building from scratch. They're going to be building from experience.
Yeah. And then we're going to be able to incorporate into Hopetown Solutions our AI softwares. Which is really cool.
What you and I spend most of our time talking about.
Yeah, and I won't get you going too deep into it because I know this will be a 2-hour podcast if we do. But
we'll do another one.
The whole idea is, we created this chatbot for the website because we were like, well, we want something that is 24/7 that can answer specific questions about Hopetown's services and general recovery questions if needed. Yeah. And we didn't find that out till later, by the way. We were like, hey, I wonder what happens if we feeded the NA basic text, and then we did. And so this whole thing with our chatbot,
it's the breakthrough of the technology that's made it so available. This generative large language model AI has changed everything this year. So it's not just those little chatbots that you used to see that were very limited, narrow intelligence. This is good general intelligence that really can help you navigate all of, in a conversational prompt, all of the different services that we offer here. Even when people are saying, hey, I need housing, and so it'll lead them to the right place and give them the right information. And then they're like, well, I'm not very good at doing it that way. And so then it redirects and it leads them to the linkage and navigation so that they can help them actually go in and apply for what they originally called for. And in the meantime, where we'd always been getting those calls, those Facebook messages at 7 p.m. on a Friday night after a long week, man, it is hard on my staff if we never, ever get a chance to take a moment and not help somebody. And when we see that it's actually able to help people better than we can, quicker, that's when we think we're onto something.
Yeah. So I'm excited to be able to teach that too. And
we'll be helping organizations set up AI so that they can. AI is not going, I say this regularly, almost every day now, AI is not going to replace you. AI is going to replace you with someone who can leverage AI, right? So if you can learn to leverage AI, you're good. You're golden. Doesn't matter what changes. You're golden. So every organization is going to need to further include it and make adjustments for it in order to be reasonable and compete.
Yeah.
To be effective.
And people like you and I can nerd out and talk about it, and it's exciting.
It's going to get really weird next year.
We'll have Tesla robots walking around here pretty soon.
We'll be the first ones in Wyndham with humanoid.